Surf the future of data.
Hey everyone, welcome back to DataSurface. In this video, we are going to do a hands-on lab on Oracle SQL data types. If you are watching this video for the first time, I would recommend check out the SQL playlist. So far, in this playlist, we have already covered what is SQL and that SQL full curriculum, whatever we are going to cover as part of this playlist, the basic building blocks of Oracle SQL data types and why they are matter. Now it's time to actually touch the database, create tables, insert data and see how Oracle stores it. Don't worry, we'll keep everything simple, practical and beginner friendly. Let's jump straight into SQL Developer. If you don't have any SQL Developer in your system, don't worry. I have already covered this particular video as part of the database fundamentals playlist. So go on, check out that particular video, how to install the Oracle S23C installation along with the SQL Developer. Let's start with the string or text data types because this is where most beginners start. Now I am creating a table called string demo. Here we are using three different character data types: char, varchar2 and varchar. So char have given size is a 5, it is a fixed length character data. Even if I store only 2 characters, Oracle will still reserve space for 5. Now coming to the varchar2, have given size is a 50, is a variable length. This is a recommended and most commonly used string type in Oracle. And varchar exists only for backward compatibility. In real projects, we avoid using it. Now let's insert sample data into this particular table. At first glance, everything looks normal, right? You look at the data, it looks normal. But here is the interesting part. Notice how char always shows the full length. Notice how char always shows the full length. Even if I am storing 2 characters, the char will still reserve space for 5 bytes, right? While varchar2 only uses the actual length of the data. This is why we use char only when the data length is truly fixed, right? I hope it's clear now. Let's move on to the number or numeric data types. In this table, we are using number for generic numeric values, integer for whole numbers, decimal for money like values, kind of a financial transactions, and float for approximate numbers, right? Internally, Oracle treats all of this as a part of the number family. Now let's insert the sample data into this particular table. So this is very common real world patterns, IDs, salaries, ratings all stored in using different numeric semantics, right? So here the key point here is in decimal and sometimes in number also we have a precision and scale values will present. So the precision will allow up to 38 digits, scale will allow -84 to 128 digits. Now let's talk about the date and time, which often confuse beginners, right? Oracle date type stores both date and time. Timestamp goes one step further and stores fractional seconds as well. Let's see practically. Now I am inserting into dates. Now if you look at that particular table, it looks quite normal. Date it will show only date and timestamp will show hours, minutes, seconds and even fraction of seconds as well. But hold on. So in Oracle 23, date data type, it will not only store date, it will store time as well. So in order to look at that, you need to use 2_char. Now look at it. See here, this is it is showing only date. Here if you see hours, minutes and seconds as well, it is showing. So basically the date will capture time as well, but it is still seconds only. But whereas a timestamp, it will show fraction of seconds as well. When I look at the difference, the fraction of seconds will show as a difference, right? Now let's move on to the large objects. CLOB, which stands for character large object. We use CLOB when normal varchar is not enough for example long documents are like logs. So ideally we'll use varchar 2, but there are certain, like if your text is very large, so we'll go with the CLOB data type or CLOB data type. Now let's insert into the sample data. So since it is a simple practical example, I just put some text here. So remember, if you want to extract the data from CLOB data type, you need to use the dbms_log. Then only you will be able to see the data, right? Now let's move on to the native JSON data type. Allows us to store JSON natively in 23C, not just as a plain text. So I have created a sample table and have defined JSON as a data type, and now I'm going to insert the data. So it's a JSON means semi-structured data. So these are the keys and these are the values. So ID having 101, name John, skills having multiple values. This we call as a array. Now let's look at the data, how it looks like. See, it is up as it is. Whatever I have inserted, it will show as it is. But if I want to extract the individual values, we'll go with the JSON value. JSON value is used for scalar values like ID and names. So now for example, and JSON query used for an array like skills. So here basically I'm using a two kind of a JSON doc functions to extract the JSON values. One is a JSON value, other one is a JSON query. So JSON value is basically it will extract the scalar values, individual values, right? Like its ID name. Whereas JSON query, it will extract the array values. For example, in skills, if you see multiple values present, right? So if you want to extract these skills, you will use the JSON query, right? So what if like if you want to extract these skills individually and if you want to populate as a separate record, like how the table in structured table, how we will see the data, right? If you want to do like that, so basically you need to use the JSON table and you need to pass the data and then you need to convert into the records. So what I'm doing here, so basically the scalar values as it is, I'm extracting JSON value by using JSON value function, ID and name. Then I'm putting into this particular JSON table. Here I'm using this particular alias name and extracting the user profile, ID and name. Then the skills I'm converting into the separate records. It will extract like this, it will insert into separate it, right? Now let's look at the final one, XML data types. So in Oracle 23C, this XML data type and JSON will act as a native data types, right? So I'm creating a sample table. XML is still widely used in enterprise systems, especially in legacy integrations. Here I am converting the XML into readable format so we can actually see the content, right? I have inserted on sample record. So in XML, will always comes as a tags form, right? ID, name, department. Now, if you want to see the XML data, you need to use the XML serialize. So it will show the as it is that XML tags data. And if you want to extract the values from that XML, you need to use XML query and then you need to the XML casting. So this is kind of a ID. If you want to select name as well, you need to put another casting one, XML cast, query and name. So here basically we'll use XML query and XML cast is the key functions, right? So that's all. In this hands-on lab, we worked with string data types, numeric data types, and date and time, CLOB, native JSON and XML data types. Understanding the data types at this level gives you real confidence when working with Oracle database, right? In next video, we'll explore about the SQL sublanguages or SQL commands like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Data definition language, data modification language, data control language, and transactional control language, and data query language. These are the basic building blocks of table creation in Oracle SQL, right? So we'll start exploring those. If this lab helped you, like the video, subscribe to DataSurface, and keep learning SQL right way. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.